Hey you guys, welcome back to In the Wild. Rayshawn here, and I'm excited for this upcoming episode because if you're feeling like me around this time in October, starting to feel stretched thin, starting to feel a little stressed out, overwhelmed, or burnt out, and today we have a friend of the show, one and only Dr. Stacy Roberts from the Whole College of Business to talk to us a little bit to help us just maintain our ambition, but at the same time, our well-being. Because if you're like me and you're a nerd and you sometimes like to read facts and figures, research has showed that 70% of millennials experience some level of burnout at some point in time throughout the year. And so that's the majority of us, probably the majority of you guys. And I think part of that is due to what I call hustle culture, just that mindset of that we have to do everything, we have to accomplish so many things by certain timelines and deadlines, and we really want to be all that we can be, especially while we're young and we have so many opportunities. And I'm looking forward to talking to Dr. Roberts to see just her perspective, because she does a little bit of everything for the university, and even outside the university, she's just an awesome person. And so we're gonna talk to her a little bit and see how it goes. So here we go. Welcome, Dr. Roberts, back on In the Wild, and this time you're in our studio.
I'm loving it.
Yes, it's been a minute since we had you. So for those who, I guess, just are unfamiliar with the presence that you have on our campus, do you mind just giving like a quick introduction and kind of like the roles that you have?
Sure. Dr. Stacy Roberts of the Whole College of Business. I'm a lecturer of management, and I love all things business. And let me back up. Thank you for having me today, because you didn't have to call me. But I love working with you, Rayshawn, and thank you for you and your team. But what I do is I work in the business school, and I tell people the people stuff. Don't ask me about finance and accounting. Don't ask me about econ, but anything human resources, people management. This fall, I'm teaching human resources. I'm trying to think what they are. I teach so many classes. I'm sorry. This fall, I'm teaching human resources, 2 management theories, and 1 entrepreneurship. So all things people. So yes, and then the other hats that I wear, I'm also over the Women's Leadership Academy. I inherited that in 2020. Loving that program, where we take a cohort of 26 women this time and bring them through this program with mentorship, guidance to help them develop into powerhouses in the workforce. And then we just started our Leadership Summer Camp. We plan on doing that next year. So I do all things like that. I love working with students. I love working in the community. And so that's just basically what I do here at Augusta University.
Yeah, I feel like you do a little bit of everything.
It's everywhere.
And I was curious, like, how did you get started with, I guess, just the people management and building people up? Like, was that always something that was inside of you, or was it something you kind of discovered along the way through other experiences? How did that come about?
I've never been asked that, but now that you do ask, I know it was always inside of me. Always. I've always been kind of like that nurturer. Like, even when we were kids, I love like the mom kind of role, things like that. I love taking care of people, and I think it boils down to I love seeing people do well. I love seeing people succeed, and I love using my God-given gifts to serve, because I believe we were put here to serve. And so how I got into it is, oh my gosh, I went here, I worked in some sales roles, I worked for Aflac for years, and then I had to I got a job at ADP where I was able to go get my master's for free, and I got into HR. There you go. If you can work a job that pays for your school, take it, if it's a good, healthy job. And so I got my master's, or received my master's, and fell in love with the world of HR. Fell in love with payroll, people management. I realized that I just loved it. Now, mind you, back in the day, I thought I wanted to be a teacher, but then I realized I didn't want to work through K through 12.
Yeah.
But I love teaching adults. Now, mind you, I do work with youth in the community, but it didn't need to be a full-time job. I work with the youth in my church. I work with youth, in different capacities. But as far as teaching and mentoring, I love working with adults. I love teaching students. I work with different companies on their organizational, practices, having peaceful, profitable, and productive workplaces. But I believe everyone has goodness in them. Sometimes they don't know it yet. So I love helping people develop, because I want everyone to win. I really do.
I love that. So for today, we're talking about hustle culture, and especially how it impacts college students, young adults in particular. So how would you define hustle culture to get started?
How would I define it? I would define it as, and I think it's it's been so many different things poured into it, but my definition is really pushing yourself to do all things at once, thinking that I have to get everything done now. It's this team no sleep mindset. It's this hustle, 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 hustle. I'll rest later. And it's this thing that I have to get the promotion. I have to get the raise. I have to get the degree. I have to get everything now. And I can enter burnout, and that's okay. But as long as I achieve my goal, it was all worth it. So hustle culture is this culture that we just have to be constant, high performers, even at our own detriment. And I don't agree with it, although I've used to do it. In all transparency.
So I guess for going off of that, how did you realize that you were a high performer even at the cost of your own well-being?
I'm glad you asked that, Rayshawn, because to me, there's nothing wrong with being a high performer. I love pushing myself. I don't think it has to be done all the time. So there are going to be times where you have to work extra hard, yes. But when you notice, my thing is what really matters. I actually have this mindset now, does it go with you when you die? So a lot of people are burning themselves out, losing their hair, losing sleep, losing their health. At what cost? Okay, you have the promotion, now what? You have the raise, now what? Okay, so you work this wonderful job, but did you miss your child's first steps? Are you missing those things? So that's how I look at it for myself. And I'm thankful I learned this lesson before I had my son. But when I had him, I said, I'm not going to miss those things. I have one child. I'm only having one child. I'm not going to miss those things that are important. I'm not going to miss time with my family. I'm not going to miss time, working with the youth at our church or working within my ministry for the next conference or the next pay raise. Is it really worth it? So when did I realize it? I'm trying to think. I think, honestly, weight gain, hair loss. You sit at the end of the day and you're just burned out and you're just like, for what? And then some things that I thought were opportunities were truly distractions. And people that I was there for weren't there for me. And I realized that I'm literally entering burnout and I have nothing to show for it but just say, oh, I worked hard. And it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, for me, I also feel like I'm a high-performing person. Even just looking back into, like, childhood and, like, elementary school, like, I always just been just naturally just a high-performer person. But for my college years, when I feel like, oh, I'm experiencing independence for the first time, I'm so ready to graduate and experience all these things that I feel like I've been promised that will get you, or doors that will open once you have this college degree, or I've been told like, oh, be as involved as you can and take advantage of all these opportunities, and I'm trying to do all of these things at once. And then you realize like, oh, I didn't have an hour to myself today. Like, the only time I have to myself is when I'm sleeping, or literally just self-maintenance, not even to do things that I enjoy.
Right. And then I love what you said about the time. And I've asked myself this, when did we get to the point where we have to do all these things now? I talk to so many students like, oh, I'm taking so many classes, I have to graduate now. And I can't tell you how many students have failed one or two and they're back here anyway when they just could have had peace and rest and just waited it out just a little bit more. So it's this mindset. And it almost comes with, and I'm going to be honest, a bit of entitlement. I have to get this because I need all these things I worked for. You will have those things. This is my personal beliefs. I believe God's timing is perfect, and I've learned to do things in His time and not my own, because when I do it in my timing, it's tore up. You hear me? Anytime I've done things in my own will, it doesn't work. But I've learned to wait and do things, and it doesn't have to happen at once. You will burn yourself out, and then, like I said, you don't enjoy it. Part of the journey is enjoying the journey. And so many times we're so caught up and busy that we didn't enjoy the journey, and then we missed the lesson in the journey.
Right.
So it's important to take it. You don't have to do everything at once. And at the end of the day, all those things you're chasing are still going to be there.
Like, I remember when I first got my master's degree, or I was able to share like, hey, like, I'm done, I've graduated, and everyone hits you with the, okay, so what's next? So what's next? What's next? What are you doing? How are you going to use your degree? How is this going to help you do this? Da, 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 da. And I'm like, and one of my friends I had told this actually kind of laughed at first. I was like, I want to take a victory lap.
I love that.
I really just want to just enjoy the fact that I have completed this huge, really awesome thing of getting a master's degree. Because for those that were watching, y'all know I was a struggle. So it was a whole testimony in itself of just being done. And I'm like, I don't want to have to worry about, okay, coming up with this master plan of, okay, here's what's next.
Right.
I don't want to take a victory lap.
I love your terminology of a victory lap. I love that. There is nothing wrong with sitting and processing. And you said something so key, Rayshawn. People, and this happens in all aspects of life, people are always, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be, okay, you graduated, when you're going to college. Okay, you're going to college, when's the next degree? Okay, when you get married. Okay, when you're having a kid. Oh, now when you're having another kid. You're just like, wait. And then again, it goes to, who are you doing this for? I love that you were able to be settled and like, no, I'm going to enjoy this moment and this time of rest. I can get another degree. I mean, that stuff is coming, even if that's what you're supposed to do. But I love that you use that.
I think I'm done with
I love it. But that victory lap, just enjoying, I did it. I'm good with this moment. And I don't have to do something right away. I don't have to keep hustling. I can take a break. And then too, it was your own race, you were running your own race, your own victory lap. You're not competing against others. That's where a lot of people get caught up in this hustle culture. Comparison and competing. And just saying, this is my lap. This is my race that I'm done with. So that's just powerful in itself.
And it's hard to adopt that mindset of I'm running my own race versus, because, in K through 12, you're with, this group of peers and you're all doing the same exact things. And then when you get to college, even though you're starting to, experience independence a little bit and starting doing different things, you still have this group of friends and you're like, oh, well, this person got this really cool internship. This person is working on campus and they're doing awesome things over here. And then I'm not doing that.
People think like that.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm doing the wrong thing or not focused on the right things. And I need to compare. I need to compete. I need to, follow or be influenced by all of them. And you kind of get, like you said earlier, like you get distracted with some of the opportunities because you're just trying to.
Right. And it's not, and that's for and I have, it's not for, everything is not for everyone. I can't tell you how many, they're doing this, don't worry about that. And I can tell you that mindset even continues off after college. I've heard even some of my students, they're getting married, honey, you get married if you're 50, if that's your journey, okay? You wait, stop looking at other people's lives. And that's where that hustle mindset sometimes sets in too. It's like, I have to keep up. With who? For what? Why? I mean, why? And then why are you looking at them? Again, that is their journey. And there's nothing more frustrating than running a race on a track you were never supposed to be on. So here you are chasing and thinking, okay, they're doing this. That was never your journey. And here you are. Now you wasted time that you will never get back. So, yeah.
Sometimes whenever I feel that way, because even though I try to be as confident in running my own race, I'm going to steal that from you. In running my own race, so every now and then I'll just write down some of my accomplishments. I'm still in my 20s, so, I'm like, let me just reflect a little bit. Let me just remind myself who I am and you did this, you did this, you did this. You should be proud. And not comparing myself to anybody, but okay, you almost have a whole full sheet of paper of things that you're proud about, whether it's, career stuff or personal stuff or whatever it may be. Just here are the things that I'm proud of, that I've completed, that I've accomplished. And sometimes when I see that stuff right now, it's like, you know what? Yeah. I can calm down a little bit. The stuff that didn't go right this semester or this year, because, I had some, we all go through things.
Yes.
It's like, okay, I still have enough to be proud of. And even though this chapter may not be exactly what I want it to look like, I still have a lot to be proud of.
You do. And also that reflection, when you keep a spirit of gratefulness and thankfulness, it allows you to be content but not complacent. So there's nothing wrong. I always believe in another goal. That's what I tell people. There's nothing wrong with having goals. But when you reflect and say, I'm thankful I've accomplished all this, I can be content in that. It doesn't mean that you have to be complacent, that you're going to be stuck there. And so that's too where that competition can arise, too, that bad vibe arise. But just be content in where you are. Be thankful. I love you too. I wrote it down you know what? I'm not doing bad. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's one thing. I believe you should never, this is my mindset. When I start 2024, when I get to December, I shouldn't be in the same place I was in January. I honestly believe that. And I do believe in reflecting on how far you've come. because you do need to, like I said, we're always serving, we're working, we're doing things for other people, as far as using our gifts to serve others. That's what I'm saying. But you shouldn't get caught in, I have to hustle. I guess I'm trying to say, what's your why behind the hustle? Are you doing it honestly because it's a goal, like it's a goal that you're reaching for? Is it because it's, and I've had some students like, I have to finish because I'm starting a job at this point. That makes sense. You better finish. But when you just want to do it because I want to finish school in 3 years instead of 4, that's fine. But why? Just why? My friends did that. That's nice.
That's great.
That's wonderful. That doesn't mean you have to do it. So the things like that. And then you take just a lot off of you. And I did not realize so many students were going into burnout. In all transparency, when I say mental, just unnecessary mental anguish because of the hustle culture. They are putting way too much, they're putting things on them that they weren't meant to carry. And so I honestly believe there needs to be some type of point that you're just like, okay, what am I doing here? And I think your practice of just writing down what you've done and being thankful for how far you come is just a very good point to recognize, so you don't keep going into that toxic, that I have to keep doing something.
Yeah, and one of the things that I'm super proud of, even at the beginning I necessarily wasn't, was like just living on my own and having my own place. That was such a...
Oh, I like that.
That was such a blessing, and just something that at first I was like, under the circumstances, I wasn't really happy at first because I didn't plan on living alone at that point in time. Mm-hmm. But then I was able to reflect, and I was like, I pay all my own bills.
I'm okay.
And I take care of myself.
You're okay.
And I don't have to rely on anybody else to...
That's beautiful.
I was like, I'm self-sufficient. That's really cool. Like, I'm really proud. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I may not have, a house, or, some people are like, oh, you got to have this many streams of income. I'm still making it. And
You're okay.
And I have my little 1-bedroom apartment, and it's mine, and it's fully furnished, and I like it.
Yes, but your own space, that's an accomplishment. It is. Because, and then, like I said, even the reflection, Rashawn, you could be homeless. But you know what I mean? You're just like, I'm thankful that I have my own place. Mm-hmm. It may not be, but I have my own place. I lay my head at night. And some people, that's not their testimony. You see, so It's just like, but you could hustle. You could be content with where you are and know what you're working towards. So you could have this hustle culture like, okay, I have a place, but I want a 3-bedroom house. And burn yourself out and get out sometimes prematurely, and then you're struggling. So, like I said, like I said, the reflection and just being grateful would just really take a lot off of people's shoulders.
How do you kind of incorporate these life lessons into the Women's Leadership Academy, which I know with women right now, especially on college campuses, like they're coming in high numbers, they're doing it, they're taking over campus because, right now we do swing a little bit more women on campus than men. So yeah, I'm curious, how do you teach that? Because they have their own barriers that they have to experience as well.
So one thing I love about the Women's Leadership Academy, I love this the thought I have, you just don't need to hear it from me. There are other people out here that have experienced this, that could teach you this lesson even better than I can. So this past year, I brought in Dr. Patrice Bruckner-Jackson, Dr. PBJ, and she did her class on burnout. And my young ladies were in tears. And I didn't realize until that point how heavy some of their loads were and what they were carrying that they thought they had to carry that they did. And her lesson was so good. So how we incorporate in the Women's Leadership Academy, I bring in speakers that are experts at this stuff. And then this summer I had lecturer Danielle Hayes in the Pamplin College. She came and talked to the young ladies about stress, and they were, high school students. I didn't realize they were carrying so much. I'm like, you're 16, 17, what do you mean you're stressed out? Oh, if I'm not valedictorian. Okay, I know it's important, but in 20 years, no one's gonna ask you were you valedictorian. So why are you stressing yourself out over something? I say, it's nothing wrong with wanting to perform well. Please do your best and do everything you do in excellence. But one young lady was like, I'm a junior and haven't decided what college I'm going to. It's okay.
Breathe.
It's okay. But it was that was so extreme to them. So we talked to the young ladies. This taught me never to assume what people are not carrying. And so we bring them in and have these real conversations to lighten this load, because a lot of the ladies we work with, 16, 17 in the Lead Hership Summer Camp, some of my young ladies in women's leadership as young as 20, and then we have some non-traditionals that go up to their 40s. But all of them have this issue. And so it lets me know one thing: it started young and it never stopped. And then, so I love bringing in these speakers and doing these exercises and activities to let them know they're not in here by themselves. And there are strategies and ways to think about it differently, that you don't have to carry that. I think that needs to be a class taught. Resiliency, burnout, all that needs to be taught to every student on campus. Because when I like I said, I didn't realize that they were carrying those things.
Well, I'm loving the conversation so far. For those watching, stay tuned because we'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Susan Davies, and I'm your Vice President for Enrollment and Student Affairs. I'm so delighted that I get to talk with you today about 4 to Finish. These are 4 aspects that we want you to incorporate into your life here at Augusta University in order to be successful. We feel like if you incorporate 4 to Finish, that you will be happier with your Augusta University experience and that you'll graduate on time. So what is 4 to Finish? Number 1, engage. We want you to engage both inside and outside of the classroom. Join a club or organization, speak with your faculty member after class, engage in undergraduate research. Number 2, we want you to make purposeful choices. Make purposeful choices about how you spend your time, about your major, and even about who you study with. Make purposeful choices. 3 is to develop your academic mindset. We want you to come into college and to be a student here at Augusta University with a growth mindset, with a mindset that allows for you to learn from others and to bounce back easily from mistakes. And number 4 is to follow your program pathway. This means following your curriculum in order to graduate on time, but it also means thinking about what you want to incorporate into your academic program to make it even more holistic for you. That might include an internship or student leadership. When you graduate from Augusta University, we want you to graduate with your degree in one hand and a career plan in the other. And 4 to Finish will get you there.
Welcome back, y'all, and we are here with Dr. Roberts from Hull College, and we left off with talking about burnout. And so I was curious to learn from you, like, what are some early signs that someone may be experiencing or feeling burnout? Like, what are some things that we might need to notice within ourselves or within someone else that, like, I think you might be starting to get burnt out?
So what I notice when I watch my students, I'm really good. Like I said, I study people. So I love watching people. I know it's kind of weird. I'm like watching all the time, just processing. But you can see when behaviors start changing. So a decline in performance is something that I watch with my students. Agitation. Some students will literally start to look like they're usually like well kept, if that makes any sense, like more like you can tell they just rolled out of bed. Or even I've seen some students dozing. And it's not just like they're busy and tired, they're doing too much. It's like clockwork. It happens after midterm every semester. Because I know it's coming to the end, the projects are building up, the work is getting harder, so you can see it. I've also noticed things like, be honest, some students literally cry. They cry because it's the weight is heavy. Like I said before, hair loss, weight gain, or weight loss. The one I notice most is like agitation. Even in class, a student that's like really engaged, somebody say something, and they're usually engaged, but someone says something, they come like withdrawn. They rather not be there. They're just tired, or they're burned out, or they're carrying a lot. So those are some signs that I think people need to watch out for, especially when you know people and you know how they normally act. People that are usually gung ho to do things and just like, I just need a moment. It also shows up as messiness. Don't feel like cleaning. Don't feel like, even your hygiene. It shows up in different ways. So just watching for things like that. And then just some people will tell you, I am burnt out. Some people just flat out, you can see it. They'll walk in and they just look like a cloud is over them. So that's how I can tell.
Have you ever experienced folks that are like high functioning even when they're burnt out? because I feel like I'm one of those people where it's like, and I pride myself on being a very honest and transparent person. So I'll be quick to tell you, yeah, I'm burnt out, or yeah, I'm stressed. And then people are like, oh, are you really? Because I can't tell. Like, you're still showing up on time. You're still performing well. Like, I don't notice any, you know, major differences within you. And I'm like, well, that's because you don't see me at home.
Right.
It all falls apart at home.
Right.
But, you know, I can pull myself together when I need to, you know, be out and about.
And Rayshawn, you just said something very powerful. Usually some of the most burned out, tired, overworked people, you'll never know because they don't show it and they can perform through the burnout, and that's not healthy. I get it. I am you on that. I get it. When I was like, yeah, you're just preaching to the choir and people will say, you know, keep trying to hand you things and ask you to do things. And you literally have to say, I just, no, I am done. I had to do that last month. I had to tell someone, I am done. I'm forgetting things. That's another sign. So I'm forgetting things. My tasks aren't getting complete. I am tired. Do not put me on another committee. Do not ask me to do anything. No, I said, no, I am tired. I am agitated. I don't want to be here. I don't want to sit through another meeting. And you have to communicate those things, especially when you're a high performer, because they're not used to you being burned out. They think you can do anything. And you have to let them know, I get burned out too. Although I don't show it, I don't complain, I need rest too. So you actually have to set boundaries when you're a high performer because you will easily get put in burnout because people think you can do anything and everything without complaint.
Yeah, one thing, and that's one thing that I really did struggle with when I started getting involved on campus as a student, because I was like, all this cool stuff is happening around me. I love to be involved, and I'm joining all these things. People keep telling me yes, so I don't want to say no at first because I don't want to miss out on anything, right? I had major FOMO, so I was like, oh yeah, I'll do this, I'll do that. If it came my way, I'm gonna figure it out. And it got to a point where I was like, I don't know how to say no, or I don't feel like I have the power to say no. Because if I say no, they may not consider me again when I can say yes. So I have to take all this on now. Do you experience that with a lot of students that you work with?
Oh, yes. It seems they have to do everything. Some of them feel like they have to do everything, be everywhere. And they don't want to say no because they do feel like, okay, I'm burning a bridge.
Right.
The people that are for you, especially if you already have a history of performing and being there, the times that you have to say no, they'll respect that. I had to learn that personally. When you usually are a high performer and you have gone over and above and you have to say no, if they try to guilt you in that moment, they're not for you. That's a partnership I personally don't want because the people who care about me want me to rest. That's how the people that care about me want me to be well.
That makes sense.
And so, and you like, why can't you? Nah, we're not. This will be our last time we work together. Out of all due respect, no hard feelings. But no, I do have some students that feel like they have to go to everything and be there for everyone. And then some of those relationships they're not healthy relationships. And I tell you, you really need to evaluate who you call friend or even your associates. But then two, you don't have to go to everything. I have to teach myself, I had to do that. Stacy, you do not have to be at this meeting. You don't have to go to that conference. Stay your behind home. Stay home and just chill because I genuinely enjoy being involved, but you don't have to be involved in everything. It's actually not okay to be involved in everything because you will stretch yourself so thin and then those activities get so intense sometimes at the same time. What are you doing then? So.
Like, that just made me think of the Saturdays that I have to myself now that I'm done with grad school. And I'm just like, I can just watch TV today. I can doom scroll on TikTok if I want to. I can work out and do all these other things if I want to and just not use my brain.
Right.
To, do assignments. And I'm like, once again, victory lap. Like, I'm going to enjoy this for a minute before I try to figure out what's next.
Rashawn, may I ask you a question? Did you ever get the inkling that you had to fill that empty time? Or did you just were able to enjoy it?
As of right now, I have not. But there have been moments in time, especially before grad school, I was like, I wonder if I should be doing something else. Like, I wonder if there's, something more productive I could be doing. But then once again, like you said, like sometimes rest is important and being able to do nothing and just kind of sit and own, like...
Oh, rest is so important. That was my Saturday. On Saturday, I really didn't have any errands. I was just like, I was able to be at home with my family like the whole Saturday. That's rare in the Roberts house. And I was just like, my son kept on his pajamas longer than normal. And I was like, this is good.
This is nice.
It's wonderful because like I said, we had a busy June and July. So just being able to have a Saturday where I could just chill and not have to leave the house, it's a blessing, and it made me value that rest time. And then, like I said, I was hanging out with my husband and son, and I was like, I love working with people. I love serving. I love hanging out with them too, and I don't want to miss that. So, and I actually thought I need to do more to have more of the Roberts time.
Yeah.
So no, I'm glad that you said that, because I did go through bad. I had to feel every minute of the day, especially when you're so used to doing that. You honestly do not have to do that. That is not healthy.
So how do you go about maintaining your ambition, but also maintaining your well-being?
So, and that can be tricky too. So, knowing your purpose, to me, that's the key. When you know your purpose, you can operate in your ambition and handle your well-being. Because, like I said, my issue was, in all transparency, I chased some distractions that I thought were opportunities. And when I really look back, they were not aligned with my purpose. And so when I really, really got a clear reason why I was put here in the earth, I could balance my well-being by saying no, many times with no explanation. I won't be there. I'm not coming. I love you. No, I'm not doing it. But also realizing, if I'm going to be here for my purpose, I have to manage my well-being. I have to sleep. I have to rest. I need to take care of my body. I need to drink my water. I need to stay out people's business. I need to be whole. I need to be healthy. I need to be aligned. Because if I heard someone say this one time, take care of your body. You only have one and you're going to need it. So I have to take care of my well-being. I have to take care of my mental space, my emotional space, my physical body, so I can be here for my family and so I can fulfill that purpose and reach that ambition.
And I'm sure your family for sure always will appreciate you choosing them to be at home with to have those...
Especially that 5-year-old.
and make those memories and all that good stuff.
Right. And because at the end of the day, Rayshawn, think about it. I love Augusta University. I love the whole college of business. I love the impact being made here. But in 20 years, Jackson is going to know when I wasn't there for him. My students are going to go on with their families, but my baby is going to remember, was mommy here? Did she miss this? And I don't want him to think, now he knows I won't be there for everything, of course. Right. Of course, that's just parenting. But I don't want him to ever think I chose a whole college of business over him, if that makes any sense. So that's what I mean. You have to remember what's important. My job is important. I believe anything you apply to and sign up for, you need to work. How would I come in here and tell Dr. Thompson? I don't feel like to know. I came in here to do a job, and I'm going to do my job well. But I'm also going to be well in being a mom, well in being a wife, well in being a minister, well in my church and my community, well with the Women's Leadership Academy. It's all about balance. So, yeah.
How would you go about, for those who are just not used to saying no and are practicing setting boundaries, what is, I guess, a great way to start of trying to let someone know, hey, I'm not trying to burn a bridge. I'm just trying to take care of me, or this is an opportunity that I would love to do, but I just can't do it right now.
I have learned, how should I put this? That is very hard for some people. I used to just say no. But it was almost like an unrealistic expectation, because some students I talk to, they literally cannot. And so I had to tell them again, the people that care about you, that want you well, will understand. I had to do this. I realized that I grew into saying no with confidence. It takes practice. Sometimes people will try to guilt you or make you feel bad. What do you mean no? What do you mean you can't? Or even try to guilt you or make you feel bad, or I think what broke me, I told someone no and they went off. And this is someone I never told no before. And in that moment, I realized they truly do not care about Stacy at all being served. They care about only them. And that broke me. Sometimes you're going to have to go through a hard kind of interaction to make you understand that I need to make sure that I'm not constantly being burned out and no one is ever thinking about me. So I would say practice. I don't care if you have to look in the mirror and just say it to yourself. No. But sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be a little bit iffy. But again, You can say no. Now, mind you, it needs to be the right time to say no. Now, if your manager's asking you to do a project, no. Don't lose your job.
Your professor telling you, do work.
Something's due. Don't lose your job or get an F trying to be all, I'm practicing boundaries. No, do your work. But if it's honestly like your plate is full and it's that we just need you for 30 minutes. No, that doesn't serve. That's not okay with me today. And we can look at another day. We can look at another time. But in this moment, that can't happen. For me to show up best for you, that can't happen. So it's practice, it's standing firm. And I will also say this, you have to have a good track record to be able to say no, if that makes any sense. You can't be a low performer or, what am I trying to say? I'm not saying you shouldn't say no. I'm trying to say is you build up such a good track record that when you have to say no, people honestly know you can't do it. They know you're not it's not laziness, it's not lack of effort. Like, this is someone that I know that works. If they say no, it's honestly they need this no right now. So build a reputation for yourself that people understand your no's do need to be no's.
That makes sense. And I also always think sometimes you really get to know a person when you tell them no for the first time, or a time where they're expecting you to say yes and you're just like, I'm sorry, I just can't. This is not a good time for me. Or like you mentioned before, like, I can't be my best self right now doing this. I can't show up for you. And so whether they go off or they respect it or somewhere in between, like, you really get to know how they really feel about you when you get to tell them no.
And then I've had to explain this to people too. I actually someone recently asked me to be on a board. And I said, I can't do that. And they're like, you can't be, you'll be such a good addition. I agree with you. However, I said, I don't believe in signing up for anything I can't give 100% to. And if I sign up for that, you will not get 100% of me. And that is not fair to me or to your board. They were like, I never had it put that way. I said, no, a lot of people we just spread ourselves thin. I've been there. And you miss meetings, you miss critical decision-making time. But if I just would have told you no in the first place, you could have had the valuable person you needed to get the work done. So I'm doing both of us a favor. So that's sometimes too I've had to explain it. I don't sign up for anything. And I tell people that now. If I can't give 110%, you won't see me. Because it's not right to me. I believe in everything you should do, it should be in integrity. And if I can't with integrity show up for you, you need to find someone else to do it.
I like that. I like the way you put that, where it's not fair to me or to you.
No, it's not. And I've seen too many times where people spread themselves thin and you're like, where's James? Oh, he missed yet another meeting. And then now you've set a bad reputation. Now you're messing up your reputation of being someone to show up when I just should have told you no in the first place. So, yeah.
Going back to women's leadership, because I really think that's such a cool program and opportunity that you provide for students. And then not only for whole students, it could be students from any discipline.
Yes, that's fun. Yeah, I love, that brings so many diverse thoughts into the program. So yeah, that's really for anyone, undergrad on campus.
Undergrad. So yeah, do you have any like success stories or stories that just show like the impact of this program once you start and matriculate?
Yes, I'm trying to think. So I have so many of the young ladies come back and say, because of what I learned, I overcame this challenge. One story, was she women's leadership? I can't remember. One story was from a student. I am big on names.
Okay.
I am so big on names. I don't like when students say, my name is this, but call me this because I know it's difficult. No. We're going to get your name right. Because if we can name the Ninja Turtles, we can say your name. I'm really big on that. So I had a student follow back up with me 2 years after graduation. Dr. Roberts, thank you for that lesson about respecting people's names. I had a new hire. She said, just call her this. I said, no, I will call you this because I was taught to respect your name. I can practice and learn how to say your name. And the person started crying because they never had anyone show them that level of respect with their name. That meant so much to me. Number one, that she even found me to tell me. But that lesson that I'm just like, you need to respect people's names, that she took that to heart and now she's impacting someone else in the workforce. When I hear success stories, it's about how you treat people. I've had students say that they've learned how to advocate for the correct salary. That, I actually had one student tell me that they were dealing with a harassment issue that they were able to navigate. Students about knowing their confidence when they walk in, or even not being, some of our students come in and they're overconfident, if that makes sense. So learning how that can hurt them, and they had to learn how to manage their behavior to be successful in the workforce instead of cutting their legs out from under them. So those are just some success stories. I've had students hired and doing well at ADP, who is our program sponsor. We've just seen so many success stories from that program. One of the best ones from this past semester, I had a student say, because of the burnout one about hustle and burning out, that she relieved her plate of some things so she could focus on her well-being. That's a success story. So from jobs, promotions, overcoming challenges, life lessons, that program is literally changing lives.
What does that feel like for you, knowing that you're a part of a program where you get to change lives for their entire life, not just for a chapter, but life lessons that they'll take forever?
I feel multiple ways about it. First, I thank God that I am in a position to do that. Like I said, we were put here to serve, and I'm glad that I could serve in that way. That's my heart. Also, how does it feel? Blessed and thankful, Rayshawn. Like, I can't even say it's all Dr. Roberts. We have an amazing team at Whole College of Business. If Dr. Thompson, Crystal Vincent, Delaney keeps me together on this marketing, our admin, Joy, like it's a team effort. The speakers that we bring in, the young ladies that come in and give their all, just to see all of these gifts coming together to make this beautiful thing happen, my heart is blessed. And I'm just so thankful that I get to witness it. And I'm so thankful that I'm a part of it, and that I know it's just not about Dr. Roberts. It's about these young ladies' lives being changed for the rest, like forever. They are learning lessons that is going to change them for the rest of their lives. And it's just, to be honest, an honor to be a part of that. I'm so glad that Dr. Thompson asked me to take over that program. At first I was like, sure, I could do it. But now that I'm seeing what it does, like when he asked me to do it, I was like, sure, like why not? I can throw a program. But it's so much more than just hosting or throwing a program. It is, it's so beautiful. And I just can't wait to see where these ladies go. So I'm going into my, I think, 4th year being over the program. Yes, was going into year 6, and this is my 4th year being over it. But where those ladies are going to be in 10 years, in 20 years, that's when you're going to see the real impact to just where their lives take them. And I can't wait to hear those stories. So
I'm excited to hear them as well. Thank you so much, Dr. Roberts, for being here and just blessing us with all of your wisdom, dropping all the gems.
No, thank you,
and
Rayshawn.
Can't wait to have you back.
Oh, thank you, Rayshawn. And y'all, I know, give a hand for Rayshawn. He is doing his thing. I love this dude so much. So, Rayshawn, thank you just for being you, so kind and just so easy to talk to every time. Anytime you need me, I'm here.
All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed that episode. I certainly did. I love talking to Dr. Roberts. She's one of my favorite people on campus for sure. And if you like that episode, please like, subscribe, do all the things. Tell us on our Instagram that you enjoyed this episode, and let us know how you feel about hustle culture. Do you participate? Are you one of those people that just believes in I'll sleep when I'm dead, have that mentality? Or are you someone that does kind of value the journey and enjoying the process? I'm kind of curious to see where we fall with that, because I'm definitely at this state in the game, feel like I'm a person leaning more towards trying to enjoy the journey and doing things that really fulfill me and bring me joy, and not try to fill my calendar up with so many things to try to accomplish so many things all at once. So I'm learning that so many life lessons, I think, were discussed with Dr. Roberts, and I hope that you guys took some things away from it as well. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next one, and go Jags!